Alright, so we do have Paul going on to... Alright, so HAHA is victorious. Paul has just left the stream to proceed to go on and face HAHA in his match. So this is going to be a round 5 match between Paul and HAHA. Alright, so this is going to be a round 5 match. For those of you just tuning in, this is the Tetris Tournament Online II, hosted by HardDrop.com, and prizes provided by the Tetris Company LLC, Blue Planet Software, and Tetris Online. This is going to be a round 5 match between Paul and HAHA. If you're just tuning in, you just missed almost a complete wipeout of HAHA versus Caffeine. HAHA actually coming out victorious 15-1, and now he's going to play Paul here. Paul was actually my co-commentator just a little while ago, and now he is back into the game. They're going to start with 2 warm-up matches, so that we're going to get through those first, and then they're going to play first 2 15 victories, win by 2. And for those of you unfamiliar with the tournament, you can go to harddrop.com/tourney. That's spelled TOURNEY for more information about the tournament. And if you'd like to chat with us, or if you'd like to chat with me, because my co-cast just left, while I'm streaming, you can head on over to harddrop.com, and there's a shout box on the homepage. You do have to register an account to use the shout box, but it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth signing up for an account on HardDrop. HardDrop is basically a Tetris community where a bunch of people interested in Tetris and interested in talking about Tetris, playing Tetris, come together on a forum in a shout box and basically talk about Tetris and compete with one another. So you can head on over to there if you're interested. Also, if you'd like to watch more Tetris Tournament Online 2 matches streamed live on Twitch TV, you can head on over to twitch.tv/harddrop. And you can subscribe, or you can actually, I believe it's called following on Twitch. So you can follow us, you can follow our stream, and you'll be notified every time we go live. We will be going live next Saturday again for the double elimination playoffs, but we are also going to be streaming once in a while throughout the week, either tournament matches that have been rescheduled, or we have a bunch of other streamers who are going to stream while they play. So it's definitely worth following and checking us out there. We are waiting for the second warm-up match to be finished between Paul and HAHA, and then we are going to proceed to watch round 5 of a round 5 match between Paul and HAHA. And for those of you unfamiliar with HAHA, he is actually a Japanese player who is a very strong player. He is on the notable players list. You can find that at harddrop.com/tourney list, and he resides from the country of Japan. He's a top-rated Tetris DS player. He's an expert at multiplayer Tetris games and very capable of upsetting the top players when he is on his game. So it looks like actually the second warm-up match taking quite a while here, so we are going to wait for this to get finished first, and then we're going to jump right into game number 1 of round 5. I was attempting to find a co-caster here. I messaged Perfect Clear, but it looks like he is not here right now, so it looks like I'm just going to solo cast this. Paradox in the chat saying his name is HAHA, so he says HAHA is what he says when someone thinks they have a chance against him. So both players leaving and rejoining the match to reset the scoreboards to make sure that that the scores are set to 0-0. Esther Yetta wishing me good luck. Presumably assuming or implying that this is going to be a very intense match. So we have Paul joining and we have HAHA joining, and this is going to be game 1. HAHA says good luck, and the game is beginning. Paul actually getting a late start because he's typing. Paul, hurry up, hurry up. Actually, Paul, is he purposely going to go for it? Nope. Not quite sure what the purpose of that stalling was. He might have actually waited for HaHa's first initial garbage input, but it looks like Paul actually just started like 5 or 6 seconds late. And that's actually not something that you want to do against someone who is able to take advantage of your slowness, because you don't have an opener to counter. But actually Paul pulling off a victory right there with a huge spike. HaHa not able to keep up with Paul's garbage right there, and Paul setting 26 lines in 25 seconds. Picking up the victory via knockout, and the score is now 1-0. Paul is the first one to go on the board. And Paradox saying he's just waiting for the initial easy garbage. If you wait for the initial garbage and keep the clean field that way. That's actually what I thought he was doing, except it seems like... But then he just, like, before receiving the garbage, he just started. But I'm not quite sure if that was just the timing that I'm not familiar with. But whatever it was, it seemed to work out very well for Paul. Looks like Paul going to go for some back-to-back Tetrises right here. Well, meanwhile, HaHa actually blocking all of that garbage, I believe. Either that or just getting lucky garbage and down-stacking through this. But looks like Paul leaving a little hole at the bottom of his matrix. Let's see if HaHa can take advantage of this and spike Paul out right here. He is setting up for the T-spin double. But unfortunately for HaHa, going to misdrop that piece. But Paul's still getting pushed towards the top of his matrix. Paul trying to stall for a little bit longer. But unfortunately for Paul, HaHa does pick up the victory there. 35 lines sent in 30 seconds, and Paul actually only able to pull off 2 lines that game, and HaHa is now also on the board, and the score is tied up 1-1. Alright, we are at game number 3. The score is tied up 1-1 between Paul and HaHaHa. Paul going for an extremely fast, I believe 3 seconds on the T-spin, initial T-spin double opener right there, while HaHa is going to receive that solid garbage, going to stack up for a Tetris right on top of his garbage hole like he just doesn't care, and then he's going to down stack through this and send the Tetris right back over to Paul. Unfortunately for HaHa, misdropping that red piece, and it looks like he's going to have to soft drop a piece to fix up that misdrop, but HaHa actually getting, HaHa misdropping that O piece, and it looks like Paul will be able to take advantage of this as he is going to send a Tetris right there, and is going to knock out Paul, or knock out HaHa right there, picking up the victory via knockout, 28 lines sent in 25 seconds, and HaHa going for the self-kill right there as he is going to make that crucial misdrop, and HaHa does get knocked out, and Paul is now ahead in the match 2-1. Alright, we are at game number 4. The score is now 2-1 between Paul and HaHaHa. It looks like HaHa went for a basic T-spin double opener right there, while Paul actually getting a little bit slower start right there. Not quite sure what took that long, but it looks like Paul is going to be able to downstack through all of that and to chain that into some downstacking with that garbage that he received. Meanwhile, HaHa is getting stacking up right on top of his garbage. Looks like he might be able to combo that down. No, but meanwhile, Paul is going to make a misdrop. It's a crucial misdrop with that green piece, and at this speed and level of play, you do not want to misdrop any of your pieces. It is going to slow you down significantly and let the other person play and catch up. Paul doing a nice spin with that orange piece right there to fix up the misdrop, but at what cost? He did have to soft drop that piece, so it looks like HaHa might be able to take advantage of this. And Paul receiving half a screen's worth of garbage right there. HaHa sending a massive spike, 47 lines sent in 40 seconds, picking up the victory via knockout versus Paul's 23 lines sent. And now HaHa is, did he tie up the match? Yes, the score is now tied up 2-2. Alright, the score is now tied. Let's see what other player can swing the momentum in their favor and get the next match on this next round. The match. We have Paul setting up for the T-spin doubles right there. HaHa gonna take advantage of the garbage, gonna set up for a T-spin double right here, sending a huge spike over to Paul. Paul actually able to block a lot of the garbage. He's gonna downstack through this and expose that nice solid garbage and take advantage of that garbage. He's gonna set up for a T-spin double. Once again, gonna set up for a T-spin single actually with the T-spin double setup, but following that up with a misdrop. But HaHa trying to take advantage of this misdrop, gonna set up for the T-spin double right there and gonna stack up for some more Tetrises. HaHa actually was going to try to micro that blue piece to try to break a single with that, but unfortunately misdropping that, and that is going to slow him down quite a bit as Paul is now at the bottom of his matrix doing a nice spin with that blue piece. My screen is frozen. There we go. And looks like Paul going to set up for the T-spin double right there, going to chain that into a Tetris. Meanwhile, HaHa trying to survive right there at the top of his matrix. He does manage to stay alive, but he does have a hole right there. Let's see if Paul can take advantage. Going to set up for the T-spin double, going to chain that into a combo. Yes, he's going to combo that down and see if he can get enough damage out, but no, unfortunately not. And of course, he misdrops that T-piece, and it looks like that is going to be end for Paul, as HaHa does have a spike coming up. He just sends up for the T-spin double right there, follows that up with, I believe, a triple, but even if it was a triple, it still sends lines. He just wanted to get as many lines out as quickly as possible right there, and he does pick up the victory via knockout. 76 lines sent in 66 seconds, and HaHa is now ahead in the set, 3-2. Someone actually in the game was named HaHa Gordon. Stream software frozen again. Why do you do this to me? XSplit. Alright, here we go. Ha gonna set up for the T-spin double at the top of his matrix. Meanwhile, Paul looks like he's in pretty good shape. If he can stack up and get some high APM moves off right here, he might be able to knock out Ha. And Ha actually following that up with a misdrap with that orange piece. But it looks like Paul, probably not the best choice to go with just regular down stacking. It looks like he needs that T-piece. He does get that T-piece, but Ha is no longer in dangerous territory as he's down stacking. But Paul actually able to turn the tides once again. Ha having a little bit of messy garbage that he has to get down through before he gets that solid garbage sent out, and once again gonna misdrop that piece. Oh, it looks like that's gonna be the end for Ha. Yes, that is going to be the end for Ha. Is Paul able to take advantage of that misdrop? Ha no longer able to downstack because of that random red piece sticking like an antenna in the middle of his field, and Paul able to power through and get that victory via knockout. 54 line set in 45 seconds, and the score is now once again tied up 3-3. Alright, we are at game number 7 between Paul and HAHAHA. Possibly going to go for a little bit of time. You know, he's just going to downstack through this and going to set up for a T-spin double right there. Meanwhile, Paul is going to downstack through his field as well. Going to send some garbage back and forth. Not quite the best placement for that O piece, I think. Looks like that might have actually been a misdrop, though. But meanwhile, Ha is going to try to take advantage of this. Going to set up for a T-spin double, try to spike up Paul as he's at the top of his matrix. Paul going to try to downstack as much as possible. He really needs an orange or a red piece, or an eye piece, but it looks like he does not have the pieces that he wanted right there, and Ha does pick up the victory. 36 lines sent and a knockout in 31 seconds versus Paul's 14. And Ha is once again in the lead with a score of 4-3. Alright, game number 8 between Paul and Ha. For those of you unfamiliar with the tournament setup, this is going to be the first 15 victories, win by 2. Ha going for a interesting placement right there. It seems like it might have been intentional, but it seems like it also hurt him a little bit as he did have to soft drop. But it looks like he's going to set up for a nice T-spin double, air T-spin double right there out of nowhere. He's going to send those lines right over to Paul. Meanwhile, he's going to downstack while Paul is going to attempt to downstack through his field as well. He's receiving a nice spike of garbage over from Ha as Ha is downstacking all of his the stuff over on his field as well. Paul is going to downstack through that as well, though, and he's going to set up for the T-spin double right there. Going to continue to downstack. Meanwhile, Ha, I believe, making it looks like he did successfully pull it off, but it looks like the spike is a little bit too much for him right there as Paul picking up the victory once again and now evening out the score once again 4-4. Alright, so the score is 4-4, all tied up once again. Pattern has been that Ha picks up a victory, and then Paul shortens that and nullifies that victory by getting a victory of his own. So let's see if he can continue to do this and possibly get ahead with the victory or consecutive victories. Looks like Ha is getting pushed towards the top of his matrix, attempting to downstack through that. He does do a nice spin with that red piece, and it is going to keep him alive right there. Meanwhile, Paul is going to go for the T-spin double, chain that immediately into a Tetris, sending a nice spike over to Ha, but it looks like Ha is going to be able to use that garbage to his advantage. He's going to send it immediately back to Paul, and Paul's going to set up for the T-spin double. But does he have that T-piece? Yes, he does have that T-piece just in time to keep himself alive, but he receives one additional spike right there, and Ha does pick up the victory. 46 lines to 47 in 39 seconds, and Ha once again victorious 5-4. Alright, once again, we are at a 1 versus 1 between Paul and Ha. Paul can stack up for, actually I thought he was going to build a little antenna in the middle of the fuse, but he's going to go for a 4-wide combo. Let's see if he can successfully pull this off. He does have 4 lines of garbage at the bottom of his matrix, but if he manages to clean this down perfectly, he can incorporate this Tetris into, yes, he incorporates this Tetris into his 4-wide combo. Ha's entire garbage field is completely filled. Full red bar, and Paul does pick up the victory. 41 lines in 22 seconds. 0T says it right here with a single exclamation point, and Paul does pick up the victory, and the score is now once again tied up 5-5. All right, we are at game number 11 between Paul and Ha. Looks like both players going to go for standard T-spin double openers. Both players receiving the 4 lines of garbage, and both players actually able to take advantage of that garbage that they received and able to send it right back to their opponents. But Ha is getting pushed towards the top of his matrix. He's receiving another spike of garbage. Paul looks like he's timing his attacks very well, but it looks like Ha is able to downstack through this. So unfortunately for Paul, he is not able to send just enough garbage to knock him out. He's just a few lines short right there. Looks like Ha is now back into the game. He does need that eyepiece to clean that down. It looks like he's actually going to set up for a nice T-spin double right there out of nowhere. Once again, meanwhile, Paul is going to try to downstack through the garbage and try to get into a safer position. Meanwhile, Ha is going to stack up for a T-spin double and Tetris hybrid build right there. He goes for the T-spin double, changes immediately into a Tetris, and now Paul is in a dangerous position towards the top of his matrix, and it's making himself a little bit worse as he is stacking on top of his garbage hole, but it looks like he will be able to clean that down relatively quickly, as now Ha is going to try to stack up. Doesn't have any high APM moves available right now, but that was only lasted for a few seconds. He's now ready for some more back-to-back T-spin doubles. Looks like Paul misplacing that eyepiece, and looks like this might actually slow him down enough and actually cost him that eyepiece enough that it looks like Ha might be able to take advantage of this. Looks like Paul frozen for a little bit, but it looks like he downstacked through everything all of a sudden, so I'm not quite sure what happened there as the game did lag out for a little bit. Looks like Ha is going to downstack through this and get down to the Swiss cheese garbage to put himself in a better position. Meanwhile, Paul is going to try to take advantage of it, and it looks like he's literally at the bottom of his matrix, going to set up for a nice T-spin double right there with that orange piece as the overhang. Meanwhile, Ha is going to receive a spike and still needs to get down towards this messy garbage that he's consistently receiving from Paul. Paul is now going to try to stack up for, I believe, a T-spin double right there. Yes, he's going to go for the T-spin double. Meanwhile, Ha is going to stack up even higher. Going to try to downstack through with some Tetrises and T-spin doubles right there. There goes a T-spin double. Oh, geez. Once again, choking on my own spit here. Paul going to go for a T-spin single. No, he does not have the T-piece right there, so he does have to clean that down with an I-piece. And let's see if this might be the end for Paul. Yes, it is, as Ha is able to take advantage of Paul's very high position right there. And Ha picking up the victory, 128 lines sent to 115. And Ha once again is victorious and goes a +1 for 6-5. Topaz Bunny in the chat saying, this set is closer than a Gillette shave. It's very nice, Topaz Bunny. Ha, once again, going to start up with, I believe, a T-spin double and Tetris hybrid build right there. But Paul is going to go for a T-spin double and chain that immediately into a two-white combo. And again, a 3-white combo. Let's see if that does enough damage to Ha. That seemed like it did absolutely nothing to Ha, as he received 2 lines from that. Looks like he did misplace that red piece, or he just said that he is fast enough that he can just downstack through everything without a problem. Looks like he was able to successfully pull that off. He's going to go for the T-spin double right there, and once again, back-to-back T-spin doubles, and Paul misdropping that blue piece, and that is going to cause him to get knocked out right there. It looks like Ha picking up the victory, 32 lines sent in 33 seconds, and Paul 25 lines sent. And this is the first time, actually, I believe that Ha in the set is ahead by 2 games. It's every time Ha picked up a victory, Paul was able to shorten that lead to 0. So this is the first time that Ha is able to get a little bit of momentum over on his side. So let's see what Paul does to try to get this back into his favor, and he goes for a 4-wide combo, and he actually receives lucky garbage, but of course he misdrops that eyepiece, and looks like that is going to be the end for that 4-wide combo right there. He is able to fix up the misdrop. Possibly going to go for a 3-wide combo? No, he's just going to stack and try to counter with some more speed and more skill with some Tetris and T-spin doubles, I'm presuming, while Ha is just going to stack up. He's literally at the bottom of his matrix, going to stack up for some Tetrises right here, possibly some back-to-back Tetrises. Meanwhile, Paul is going to try to downstack as much as possible. Ha actually going to go for a nice T-spin double right there. Once again, out of nowhere, Ha's actually T-spin awareness actually very excellent right here. Ha going to go for another T-spin double right here, as Paul getting pushed towards the top of his matrix, able to block a lot of that garbage, but it looks like he is getting pushed towards the top of his matrix, blocking his garbage hole right there, and he needs to stack on top of that to try to stay alive right here. He is actually managing to do that, but as Ha was not able to get that damage output ready, but it looks like Paul is once again in a dangerous position at the top of his matrix. Does have that eyepiece to downstack, but Ha has a lot of APM ready to send right over to Paul. Paul actually able to get down through that solid garbage, but now it's all up to his T-spins as he is now getting down towards this the Swiss cheese garbage. Does receive another last spike. He really needs to micro and get lucky with his pieces, and looks like that is not going to happen right here, as Ha does pick up yet again another victory, 92 lines sent and a knockout in 1 minute and 15 seconds versus Paul's 36. And Ha once again reinforcing his lead, and now he is ahead 8 victories to 5. All right, we are once again in a game between Paul and HAHAHA. Once again, going to go for the hybrid T-spin double and Tetris build right in the middle. But looks like he actually ended up comboing that down with the 2-wide combo, and not very effective as Paul only received two lines of garbage from that exchange. Meanwhile, Paul is going to stack up for some back-to-back Tetrises right here, going to down stack through this. Ha actually getting pushed towards the top of his matrix. He does have that eyepiece on hold, and he is able to spike out Paul when Paul thought he was ahead. And Ha actually picked up the victory. Paul actually sent more lines that game. And of course, sending lines doesn't mean everything, because of course, if you block lines and those don't count towards the line sent. But Ha actually picked up the victory right there. 9 wins, 9 victories to 5 in 25 seconds. So Ha once again reinforcing his lead right here, actually getting on a roll and bringing the momentum in his favor. As just a while ago, Paul was consistently winning games right after Ha was able to pick up victory. So Paul really needs to focus and get in this if he wants to come out victorious in this match. Looks like Ha is going to stack up for, once again, some more back-to-back Tetris and T-spin double setups right here. He's actually going to stack right on top of his garbage hole and going to actually incorporate his garbage into his damage output with some back-to-backs right there. But looks like Paul is going to be able to down stack through everything that he has on his side of the field. Does he have that eyepiece? Yes, he has that eyepiece on hold, so he can actually combo down and send a lot of spiked garbage over to Ha. And Ha actually receiving a lot of messy garbage on his side, so it looks like he might be able to, Paul might be able to take advantage of this and try to spike out Ha. But Ha actually setting up for the T-spin double right there, blocking any incoming garbage that Paul had, and now going to try to down stack through all of the Swiss cheese garbage. Still Ha not quite in a very good position, but he's going to set up for that T-spin double. Nice micro with his pieces, making sure that he's not blocking his garbage hole, and actually setting up for some good moves at the same time as well. Paul actually was going to try to go for that spin with that blue piece, but unfortunately he did not have that wall to kick it off, and it looks like, oh, misdropping that O piece as well, preventing him from getting the T-spin double. Looks like Ha actually not doing too well on his side either, as he is misdropping quite a bit, and he does have to soft drop a few pieces to get that fixed up. He actually incorporated a T-spin single in there with that fix up, but it looks like Paul is going to be able to power through, as Ha was struggling for a little bit at the top of his matrix, and Paul picking up victory, shortening Ha's lead by a little bit. 59 lines sent to 66 in a minute and 18 seconds, and now Paul is ahead, or Ha is now ahead at 9 victories to 6. Alright, we are on game number 16. Paul going to go for the 4-wide combo. Let's see if he makes a misdrop and cancels. No, he is actually going to start a little bit early, receiving 2 lines of garbage. So this is actually very, if he did this intentionally, this is actually a very good idea, as he was able to minimize the damage that he received at the bottom of his matrix. So he only received 2 lines and then stacked up even higher to make his 4-wide even more powerful. But it looks like Ha actually able to hold on for a little bit longer. Let's see if he can down stack through this. Paul setting up for the T-spin double right there, sending some lines over to Ha. Looks like Ha will be able to get out of this, as he is at the middle of his matrix right now, but he does receive a nice spike from Paul. If Paul can continue this attack, he might be able to pick up another victory right here from Ha, but it looks like Ha does have that eyepiece, was timing it for a little bit, but looked over at Paul's field. Paul didn't really have that high APM move set up, so it looks like Ha just sent over the garbage over to Paul's field. Meanwhile, looks like Paul is going to try to down stack through all of this garbage that he received, and Ha is going to stack up for some more Tetrises and possibly some down stacking. Setting up for, I believe, nope, not going to go for the T-spin double, just going to take a safer route and go down stacking through that with some singles and a very short stack combo right there. Meanwhile, Paul not in the best shape on his side, as he has no damage output set up right now, but on the other hand, neither does Ha, as he did misdrop that green piece, and looks like that is going to slow him down as well. Looks like Paul is going to, Paul actually in really good shape at the bottom of his matrix now, going to set up for a T-spin double. No, he's going to set up for some back-to-back T-spin doubles right here. 2 T-spin doubles in a row, sending a nice spike of garbage over to Ha, and Ha really needs to down stack as quickly as possible. He does actually have some Swiss cheese garbage that he has to get down through, and he did block his main garbage hole right there, but he's going to set up for the T-spin double right there. Blocking a lot of that incoming garbage over from Paul. Looks like Ha is going to down stack through this once again. Meanwhile, Paul going to stack up for, I believe, some T-spin doubles right there. Yes, he's going to go for a T-spin double, sending another spike over to Ha. Can Ha survive? He does a nice piece micro with that eyepiece, laying it flat rather than vertically, and he does stall his death right there and prevents him from topping out. Now the hurry up garbage has started to come up. 2 minutes and 3 seconds into the game, we are at 2 lines of hurry up garbage, and of course, those of you unfamiliar with Tetris Friends, you cannot break this hurry up garbage, so once it shows up, you cannot get down below it. Paul having a little bit of difficulty right there, receiving a huge spike from Ha, as Ha down stacks through everything on his field, and Ha does pick up the victory. 113 lines to 115 lines that game. Ha picks up the victory via knockout, and Ha enforces his lead 10 to 6. All right. Let's hop right back into the game. Zero T says, great job that game. Yes, that was an excellent down stacking from High. It sent a huge spike over to Paul, but it looks like Paul is in better shape this game so far, as he's going to set up for the T-spin double, chain that into a Tetris. Meanwhile, High is going to get pushed relatively high in his matrix compared to Paul. It looks like Paul is going to be able to send a combo right there, but High looks like he is going to be prepared for that, and yes, he is prepared, as he does have the T-spin double set up, blocking any incoming damage. Oh, but he misdrops that blue piece. Can Paul take advantage? Looks like the answer is going to be no, as Ha is going to set up for the T-spin double right there, following that up with a misdrop with that O piece, but it looks like Paul not in the best shape either, as he placed his I piece on top of his garbage hole. He's going to set up for the T-spin double right there, going to down stack through this and try to get into a safer position. Meanwhile, Ha is going to set up for a Tetris and going to most likely stack up for some more Tetrises right here, as he's been doing with this entire set today. Looks like he's going to stack up for a T-spin double right there, but follow that up with a misdrop, giving, and yet again another misdrop, giving Paul the opportunity. Paul has a ton of solid garbage. Can he spike Ha out right now? He has the T piece setting up for the T-spin double, sending a spike, but Ha does have the I piece, so Ha is able to delay his death right there, but Paul is still on the offense right now. He is going to go for the T-spin double, chain that immediately into a Tetris, sending a ton of solid garbage under some Swiss cheese garbage, and Ha getting pushed towards the top of his matrix, extremely close. Can Ha stall any longer? And no, he cannot. Paul actually topping that off with even more spikes right there, and Paul picking up the victory. 79 line cents to Ha's 69 in a minute and 60 seconds. Oh, great. A minute and 30 seconds. And Ha now is ahead in the set, 10 victories to 7. Alright, for those of you just tuning in, this is the Tetris Tournament Online II, hosted by Hard Drop. This is a round 5 match. This is part of the double elimination playoff. So we actually finished the round 4 matches already today, and Paul and Ha is a round 5 match. So even if one of these, one of these players loses, and of course one of them obviously is going to lose, but one gets defeated, they will actually still have a shot to be victorious in the entire tournament, as this is double elimination. So they need to get eliminated twice before they eliminated from the tournament. So it looks like Paul gonna go for some basic down stacking and some basic T-spin doubles right here. Meanwhile, Ha is gonna stack up like he does on top of his garbage hole, gonna set up. Looked like he was gonna try to go for a T-spin, but unfortunately could not commit, as he did receive a nice spike from Paul, and he was a little bit frightened right there, as he might have been knocked out. So it looks like he did down stack through that with an I piece, and he is on a safer side. But looks like Paul is literally at the bottom of his matrix, going to set up for some T-spin doubles right there. But looks like Ha, not quite sure what happened there, but it looks like his TPs ended up in the wrong spot right there. So it looks like Ha is going to get slowed down by a little bit. It looks like, I believe he had to soft drop 2 pieces to get that fixed up. So not quite the best situation for Ha right there. And he does have a little bit of Swiss cheese garbage to get to. But of course, Paul is going to make a misdrop with that red piece. And it looks like that is going to slow him down significantly, as he's soft dropping, I believe, 3 pieces right there to get that fixed up. And of course, at this speed and at this level of the game, you want to soft drop as little as possible, because if you soft drop, you're going to get slowed down significantly, and you're not going to have that damage output that you might have if you don't soft drop. So it looks like Ha in a pretty good shape right now. He does have that eyepiece blocking that garbage and sending a little bit of garbage out of his own actually over to Paul. Meanwhile, Paul is going to, I believe, misdrop that O piece. It might have been intentional, might have not. I actually wasn't there to see the intentional drop, or the initial drop right there. But Ha once again going to stack up for some back-to-back Tetrises, and now Ha's relentless attack is, I believe, on the start right here, as Paul is getting pushed towards the top of his matrix, not quite getting lucky with his pieces right there. Is able to down stack by a little bit, so it looks like he is on the clear, and he is able to soft drop that green piece and save himself. But oh, making a misdrop with that red piece, that is going to cost him the game right there, as Ha comes out victorious. 100 line cent, with picking up the victory with the knockout versus Paul676, and Ha once again reinforces his lead, 11 wins to 7. I just clicked on so someone just Skyped me, and in my attempt to read that, I just clicked on pigeon, and that's not what I wanted to do. Alright. Okay, I think everything is fine. Let's get back right into this game. Paul actually going to go for the 4-wide combo, sending a huge spike of garbage over to Ha. Can Ha block this garbage? He does have that eyepiece. Oh, there's no way he's getting out of this, as Paul going through with a powerful 4-wide combo, sending 44 lines in 20 seconds. That is more than 2 lines per second. And he does fill up Ha's entire garbage meter, and there's no way that Ha can ever stall out of that. in the position that he was at right there, and he does. Paul does pick out a very, very quick victory right there, 20 seconds, and the score is now shortened by a little bit, 11 to 8. Paul is frozen. Paul was frozen for a little while, and he did receive a huge spike of garbage, so he is actually at quite a disadvantage right now, as HAHA is going to go once again on the offense, and misdropping that IP is obviously not going to help him at all. HAHA picking up the victory, 23 lines sent in 17 seconds versus Paul's 5, and HAHA does pick up the knockout victory via knockout, and enforces his lead once again, 12 to 8. All right. Once again, Paul and HAHA going to go. Looks like HAHA is going to actually set up a nice T-spin double right there. Might have been a misdrop, might have been intentional, but looks like it worked out in his favor right there. He did have to soft drop an additional piece for that, but looks like he will be able to downstack through all of his solid garbage that he's receiving, actually sending it immediately right back to Paul. And now Paul needs to downstack as quickly as possible. Does have a little bit of Swiss cheese garbage to the bottom of his matrix, but it looks like he will be fine from that. HAHA going to go for the hybrid T-spin double and Tetris build, and once he gets that started up, he's going to relentlessly attack Paul. Looks like Paul was able to hinder HAHA stacking by a little bit by sending some garbage right back to HAHA, but Paul getting spiked out right there, not even able to swap out that eyepiece that he most likely had on hold there, because they actually didn't see an eyepiece being used for quite a while. So it looks like HAHA picking up the victory there, 61 lines sent in 40 seconds with a knockout. The score is now 13 to 8. And for those of you unfamiliar with the tournament format, these games are first to 15, win by 2. So if HAHA continues his streak right now, he might be able to defeat Paul right here. But as we have seen in the past, Paul is able to do a very nice full light combo. So if he consistently uses some very nice technique and very nice builds, he might be able to get right back into this. But of course, making those misdrops, not quite a good technique or a good build. It looks like he actually was able to fix that up quite a bit, but looks like HAHA is going to be able to take advantage of this, as Paul is able to set up for that Tetris right there with that garbage to block a lot of that garbage, but it looks like he is going to get spiked out right here, and he does, and HAHA picks up his 14th victory right here, 46 lines sent in 27 seconds without even use of a large combo. Actually, that's quite impressive, and it looks like HAHA is going to be the head, 14 victories to 8. So this is going to be game point for HAHA. If HAHA picks up this victory, he will proceed to go on to the next round. Meanwhile, Paul will fall down into the loser's bracket. So let's see how this ends up right here. This is game number, I actually haven't been keeping track of the game numbers anymore. It looks like Paul opening up with that misdrop, not a great way to start the match, and then once again getting a misdrop that might have been intentional, as he was predicting that spin right there. But looks like HAHA is going to stack up. HAHA literally at the bottom of his matrix, going to try to stack up for some more high APM moves, as Paul is going to almost get a perfect clear right there. That would have been the end for HAHA, but it looks like, unfortunately for Paul, he was not able to successfully get that perfect clear and get that spike of 10 lines. But it looks like HAHA is going to be able to downstack through all of his Swiss cheese garbage, actually going on the offense and picking up the victory on Paul. It looked like HAHA was actually at a disadvantage because of all of that Swiss cheese garbage on his side, but it looks like HAHA was still able to